Hellmaster EX. This award-winning system features the first single-engine joystick with digital electric steering and new autopilot capability. See Hellmaster EX in action at a Yamaha Outboard dealer or visit YamahaOutboards.com.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Out of respect to Bob the Garbage Man here in this week's video fishing forecast for the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region, I will not have any exciting video intro. No surface explosions, no blitzes, no picket fences along the beaches, no traffic jams along the beach or bent rods. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Brunhilde here has hit the stage. Not yet, my friends. Not yet. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine. It is Thursday, December 12th. Many of our regular viewers are probably out in the pines someplace enjoying the 6-day shotgun season for deer. Or perhaps you're like me, trying to get caught up on everything that you've neglected throughout the month of November. Like the boat, I still have to bring that over to Benchmark, and I haven't even done any of my holiday shopping yet. What have you. That said, there are still some stripers, and some sizable stripers at that, up and down the coast, from the New York Bight down the Jersey Shore off of the Delaware coast. Now, it's a sand eel bite, predominantly for you surfcasters. Think tins and teasers, dusk and dawn, although at this time of year, the time of day doesn't necessarily matter. So there is a pick of stripers along the front beaches. But the reports we're getting from some on boats are of some epic catches of sizable stripers just off the beach out to the edge of the forbidden zone at the 3-mile line. Oh, look, I do have video. That's from Eric Kerber, Captain Eric Kerber, earlier this week. A little editorial input from the skipper as well. But the captains who are out there every day are reporting that the fish are there, if the boats are there. Lots and lots of stripers off the beach, like I said, from Sandy Hook down to Cape May and into Delaware. And getting on them, of course, means, for the most part, having your boat in the water. One thing I've been spending a lot of time going up and down the beaches from Raritan Bayshore down to Cape May, talking to various tackle shops and captains about this striped bass decision this week. And what I'm learning, too, and as you know, especially as you get down into South Jersey, a lot of marinas get people out by December 1st, even Thanksgiving. So a lot of the boats aren't in the water just as things are starting to get better in the south part of New Jersey. I got to think the bait and bass, for the most part, folks who have been enjoying the epic fishing of November, kind of shut down early last week and hasn't picked up again. I think the cold weather is pushing that bait and those bass a little off the beaches. You'll still have opportunities, like I said, to pick away at some fish while we wait for the occasional blitz, the lightning strikes, if you will, down into Atlantic and Cape May County. I'm reminded of earlier this year, very early this year, 2024, January, of some occasional blitz conditions in Wildwood, right around the time of the Wildwood Fishing and Boating Expo in the first week of January. Now, earlier this week, I did see where Mike at Sea Isle Bait and Tackle in Cape May County reported that Frances here got herself a 31-inch striper on the Troll, somewhere around the Sea Isle area. Might as well take that November, December keeper while you can, folks, right? What's wrong with taking one for the table? Let's get into this. 28 to 31 inches. That's our current slot limit for keeping a striped bass for the table. It was implemented by the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission a couple of years ago, more specifically, their Atlantic Striped Bass Management Board. It was done via an emergency in an effort to reduce the harvest on what was considered a more robust young of the year class, those fish that were hatched in 2015. For a little background on where we stand right now with striped bass, I added a few links in our YouTube description on this week's video. From the Fisherman magazine, articles that I've written going back to 2023, including Playing the Slot, ASMFC declares striper emergency. That provides the original rationale for the narrow slot that was implemented 2 years ago from the ASMFC. Now, I should warn you, if you're overly sensitive and easily triggered by a news article that presents all sides of an issue, don't read the things that I write. I was originally trained as a journalist, went to school for it, and in the old days, before sensitivity training and participation trophies for everybody, A reporter would cover all aspects of a particular issue to help readers navigate a serious issue. In the latest emergency decision, the prospect by the board, it is serious and requires open discussion. So, the public comments in the 3 full business days to provide public comment from last Thursday's webinar until Tuesday, this past Tuesday, that time frame is over. We've promoted the meeting and discussion for at least a month, and hopefully you saw your news email blast on Tuesday, the e-news blast from the Fisherman. That had everything you needed to weigh in by the Tuesday night deadline. Now we have to wait until Monday, December 16th, to learn our fate. Again, information is up at thefisherman.com, but you can also find this press release by going to ASMFC.org, Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission. That Monday morning webinar, I'll be sitting in on it. One last observation, and don't get upset with me, Cupcake. The adults in the room are going to talk right now, okay? I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on in terms of the history of striped bass by the ASMFC's own numbers. Now, if you remember those dire days of the 80s, I do, I'm 57. Many of us were looking at the potential grave collapse of our striped bass fishery. A series of measures, both conservation and of course environmental, including the cleanup on many of our estuaries where striped bass are born and raised. All that work led to January 1st, 1995, 30 years ago this January 1st, a heralded monumental conservation victory when striped bass was built back to 202 million pounds. Keep in mind, 30 years ago this January, that's the celebration mark. And now, right now in 2024, we're at a 30-year low on mortality, except for maybe that NOAA admitted little 40% glitch in overestimation a couple of years ago. But today, our spawning stock biomass is at 191 million pounds. And that's just about, what, 10 million pounds off of that conservation victory 30 years ago in 1995? I know striped bass is an emotional fishery, and while we all want to conserve and rebuild it to greatness, there are recruitment problems on the nursery grounds, the Chesapeake in particular, and also the Hudson River. But in terms of the long-term, the spawning stock biomass, when you look at where we were 30 years ago during the conservation celebration versus the doom and gloom discussion of today, again, it's important that we look at this striped bass situation from every conceivable side. Now, I've got one last management update that I alluded to before. Breaking news this week out of New York. The New York Department of Environmental Conservation has released their 2024 Young of the Year survey results for the Hudson. That's the spawning fish that moved into the Hudson in April and May and did their thing. And these are the eggs, the baby stripers. And this survey is conducted. There's 13 sites where they seine along the lower Hudson. It's done bi-weekly from July through November. This is the 45th year of this Young of the Year survey on the Hudson, and the showings, the results are there on the screen. Bottom line is, while Chesapeake Bay results have been dismal multiple years in terms of baby stripers, the Hudson numbers this year are also down. This is the second consecutive year of that below average production and abundance. So no matter how the SSB discussion ends up on Monday, that's SSB. When it comes to the next few years, as these baby stripers get older and move into the population, striped bass is a discussion we're going to be having a lot of in the next few years, and we need to have it openly and honestly amongst all of us. No finger pointing and crying, folks. We got to discuss this. Now, in addition to striped bass, right now, you've also got black sea bass and tautog, blackfish, along the Jersey Shore. We've got a 15-fish bag limit for sea bass and a 12.5-inch size limit through the end of this month. And in terms of tog, it's a 5-fish bag limit in New Jersey, 15 inches through the end of December. I actually have a tog trip scheduled for a week from Friday down in Delaware with Nick Konacheski and Captain Jamar Campbell on the JC2 out of Lewis. So I'm praying for good weather on that. We have plenty of boats sailing along the Jersey coast down into Delaware, into Lewis Harbor, starting from Captain Akira up there in Bayonne. If you want, I would advise it, pick up the December edition of the Fisherman magazine. And when you turn to the inside reports section, all the way inside, it has a listing of all the boats that are sailing, all the tackle shops that are open. We've got the holiday messages in this December edition as well, and of course our holiday gift guide. It's only on newsstands for another couple of days because this week, this Sunday actually, we'll be compiling reports for the January edition and our annual boat buyer's guide. It's actually hard to believe that we're looking straight ahead at the holidays and a brand new year at this point. And if you're like me, as I said, you've probably, the November action at the Jersey Shore has left you a little bit behind in your holiday shopping. So now is the time to kind of finish that stuff off. Maybe your stocking stuffers, a gift certificate at a tackle shop. Maybe you need some gear. Maybe there's somebody on your holiday list. I'm a big fan of apparel. My Riptide bait and tackle sweatshirt. I think it's great, especially if you're a snowbird or you plan on traveling this winter. If you're in Florida someplace, maybe Costa Rica, when you wear your home colors, a lot of times somebody will grab you and say, hey, I know that place. And before you know it, you've got a brand new friend down wherever you happen to be, maybe even a new fishing buddy. You'd be surprised at how many people recognize the home colors when you're on those away trips. I did speak to Andy at Riptide Bait and Tackle this week, who is down in Florida. I'm not going to say anything bad, I could, but he did let me know that the Beached Cars of Brigantine website, beachedcarsofbrigantine.com, that website is up and operational and taking orders for the Beached calendar, the Beached Cars of Brigantine, a classic calendar for the 2025 season. Proceeds from that will go to the True Spirit Coalition of Brigantine, but Andy says he expects those calendars in the shop at any point now. There are many ways for anglers to give back during the holiday season, and on this week's Open Boat, Jenny shares the joys of doing so with tips on what you can do to make things a little more merry and bright for all this holiday season.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat. It's the season of giving, and I just wanted to first wish you all a very Merry Christmas, and I just wanted to share some insight, since it's a season of giving, on giving back to the community. There's a lot of different ways you can give back to specifically the fishing community, and I'm going to give you some examples of how to do so. First off, you can go through all of your plugs, your old tackle, like the fall run shut down for the season when you're getting yourself all packed away, put your waders in the garage, they're out of your truck, blah, 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 blah. But you can go through your stuff, like your plugs, etc., old reels, old rods you don't use anymore, and you can reach out to like your local tackle shops or your fishing clubs and say, hey, I want to donate my old stuff, give to the kids. Think about the kids this holiday season. There's a lot of kids getting into fishing and they don't have like a lot of money or resources to get the tools they need to get on fish. So that one plug donation could make a kid's life and they could catch fish on it the next season come around, and it could make them hooked on fishing for life. So that's one way to consider. And going back to like your local tackle shops and fishing clubs, a lot of them do different like toy drives or fundraisers. You can go in and donate money or donate toys, or like I said, donate different lures and tackle and rod and reels to them to give to the less fortunate. I know a lot of local tackle shops do fundraisers, for example, like St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So always try to consider like fitting into your budget those like money donations for when you see them pop up. Support your local tackle shops, your small businesses by helping those fundraisers. And it's the spirit of Christmas. It's just a great time to give. You're getting gifts yourself. Why not give gifts back? So giving back to the fishing community in any way you can. It could be a small act of kindness while you're out on the surf, because the fish are still biting on sand eels. We're having a nice extended surf season for stripers. And if you go out there and you see someone, like I said in a previous Open Boat, like struggling to get on fish, one little act of kindness of like helping them out, like helping them, hey, throw on this. I was getting them on this just before. Like, small acts of kindness go such a long way. And it's such a good feeling helping out people, especially during the Christmas season. Now, hopefully this is a good incentive for, good old Santa Claus to not give you coal this Christmas. You're gonna get coal if you cut someone's line. So doing good acts of kindness is one step in the right direction to not getting coal. And I hope all you fishermen out there do not get coal this season. Maybe some lead sinkers for blackfish season. I know I have those, but they might break my stocking as a stocking stuffer. So hopefully you guys just wrap up the season strong and keep an eye out for those Christmas or just holiday acts of giving that your local tackle shops or your fishing clubs are doing. Take part in them if you can, and just Merry Christmas all along the coast. Let's get on some fish. It's blackfish season now, so boys, get ready. We're gonna be talking blackfish for maybe a month or two. I have trips coming up, so let's send it. I'll see you guys out there and catch you on next week's Open Boat.
With 3 convenient in-water locations, Waterfront Marine has one of the largest inventories on the East Coast of premium brand boats. Their exceptional service department, fully stocked parts department, and ship store will ensure smooth sailing after the sale. Visit our 3 locations or online.
Now, until December 31st, Tsunami is giving away a Salt X waterproof backpack when you purchase a new Salt X2 reel. With its 19 seals and machined aluminum frame, the rugged Salt X2 can conquer any fishing condition you may face. Check out the QR code for all the details.
Now, I would expect you'll see Jenny this Saturday and Sunday at Grumpy's in Seaside from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. Grumpy's Tackle. That, of course, is the Grumpy Santa event. You can get your picture taken with Grumpy Santa. He's got candy canes to give out, depending on whether you're naughty or nice. They're either going to be minty or bunkery. But all that stuff that goes on at Grumpy's this Saturday and Sunday will go to support the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Hey, by the way, if anyone out there wants to escape the cold this winter, our video producer, Tim C. Smith, has a condo on Pine Island in Southwest Florida now available for the season. It's a waterfront property. It's got a pool and a boat slip. It's $3,000 a month. Get all the details by visiting snooksnook.com. As for more holiday gifts, like the weathered fisherman cap I'm wearing on top of my weathered head, as well as sweatshirts, t-shirts, winter beanies, head on over to thefisherman.com.
The season of gift giving is here. Why not share the gift of fishing that lasts all year long? A subscription to the Fisherman magazine is just that. 12 glossy print issues and 26 weekly digital issues delivered to your inbox. Plus, weekly reports and full access to the website, all for just $29.95. And you're automatically eligible for the Dream Boat Challenge with your chance to win a new Steigercraft powered by Yamaha. Visit thefisherman.com/subscribe for that ultimate gift.
Bluefin. I can catch these. They're not. Battle 4.
So our weather forecast at the Jersey Shore heading into the weekend ahead looks like we got lows in the 20s on Friday and Saturday. But by the same token, the inshore forecast from the National Weather Service looks like it could keep you toasty on the striped bass, black sea bass, or tog grounds this weekend. Also porgies, a lot of boats, especially north of Barnegat, loading up on the porgies, especially those offshore wreck trips. In our weekly reports this week, they were posted on Tuesday at thefisherman.com. A few tuna guys are still on the hunt for bluefin. Jason at Fisherman Supply in Point suggested the stretch from Little Italy to Tolton Lump for those trolling ballyhoo on heads or casting NLBN straight tails. Sean at Waterfront Marine in Summers Point said there are reports of bluefin tuna down off of that stretch in South Jersey. The tuna coming completely out of the water, but there's just not a lot of angler effort there. Meanwhile, the crew at Hands 2 Bait and Tackle in Cape May reports stripers to the north of the Wildwoods within the 3-mile line, but they said bluefin tuna within 8 miles of Cape May. I know that's not a bluefin tuna, it's a yellowfin, but it is a tuna, and that is George, which is my ham-handed segue this week. Heading out to talk to George about our freshwater update with the Pocono Outdoors guy.
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. You know, a lot of fog and rain here in the Poconos, but welcome for sure. After a couple days of rain, we're finally starting to see those water levels pick up just a little bit, but it's moving in a positive direction, so always good to see. You know, last week's video, I touched on, teased a little bit about the possibility of some ice. Well, you know, one of my best friends, Josh Taylor, he was up in Tobyhanna State Park and managed to find himself, well, let's just call it fishable ice. It wasn't quite the safest as we like it. We like 4 good inches before we get out there, but it was just a little bit under that, and he decided to drill a hole in some of the shallow flats. Well, I'll tell you what, that lake is so shallow and the elevation is just prime. It's one of the first lakes to freeze here in the wintertime, and he managed to get himself a bunch of nice perch and a few pickerel for his efforts, so not too bad, being probably the first guy in Pennsylvania to drill a hole and get some fishing on the ice. So good work there, Josh. Now, temperatures over the weekend, guys, we're going to see a lot of things cool down a bit. Teens at night, low 30s, so we might see that ice build back up again. Be really careful when you get out. Don't rush this, guys. You know, we hate to see something happen when you're just barely safe ice. There's lots of other things to do right now. There's lots of creeks and streams. The trout are going good. As a matter of fact, Jersey Jen Wong checked in with a couple nice trout he got on jerkbaits, of course. So there's good alternatives there before rushing to get on the ice. But I don't think it's too far off, guys. Just be safe if you get out there, and don't forget your safety gear. Guys, get out and get on them. But from Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
Now, to piggyback on what George just had in his freshwater update, keep in mind the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife just completed their winter trout stocking, and with a little rain over the last few days, last couple of weeks, the lake and stream conditions in the Garden State should be slightly better now for you folks with a freshwater fishing license and a trout stamp. Of course, don't forget, now's probably the time of year where you want to think about getting your new saltwater registry and your license and registrations and your permits and your stamps for the 2025 season. Just keep in mind that the 6-day shotgun season for wily whitetails is now underway. So if you do plan on traipsing about in search of winter trout, you'd be wise to don your winter orange, your blaze orange hat and vest. Personally, I haven't deer hunted in over 20 years, but I do like gunning birds from time to time, ducks and pheasants. You gotta wonder if they're gonna do something about the drone season this year. My congressman here in New Jersey, Chris Smith, said it's time to shoot them down. Congressman Smith said more than a dozen drones were spotted following a 47-foot Coast Guard boat on Sunday night, while law enforcement tracked another 50 drones coming onto land from the ocean at Island Beach State Park. Be careful out there, Lynch. Captain Ben from Marina Pez Vela in Costa Rica is back for another season. I would remind you, it's located in Capos on the Pacific coast. It's just north of Dominical and just south of Los Sueños, but Capos is a fantastic destination. And our producer, Tim Smith, and I, we were down at Marina Pez Vela a couple of years ago. You can find our travel log video posted on our YouTube channel. It was posted back on October 13th. 2022. For more on La Pura Vida and the local action in Capos, let's check in with Captain Ben Gilmore, jackpot sport fishing out of Capos.
Hey there guys, how's it all going? This is Ben Gilmore from here at the Marina Pez Vela, Costa Rica. I got you a quick fishing report today, guys. So our rains are pretty much stopped now. We had a lot of rain down here in November. just the peak of our rains this year, but now everything's clearing up. Our inshore fishery is firing on all cylinders this week. We had some beautiful snapper along the beaches, some big snook caught this week, and the roosterfish have turned on as well. We had a really nice broomtail grouper the other day, and really good to see some cubera snappers out over the offshore reefs too. The billfish bite is really good. Just the other day, a guy caught a 700-pound black marlin, which was insane. The blue marlin bite has been good, and a few striped marlin also. Right now, we're kicking off our main sailfish season. Today, we caught 5 sailfish and 3 dorados, and that bite is just going to get better and better this next couple of months. We'd love to see you down here, guys, this winter. This is Ben Gilmore from Jackpot Sport Fishing at the Marina Pez Vela, Costa Rica.
Don't forget about the ASMFC Striped Bass Management Board meeting coming up on Monday, December 16th. It starts at 10 a.m. An online webinar version will be accessible to the public. You'll find the press release and the webinar instructions over at ASMFC.org. I'll be on it myself, and we'll have more to report on any final actions in next Thursday's video fishing forecast for the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region. I will see you then.